Well, hello. Here we are again. I'm trying new format, so you will see it and probably hear it because I removed microphone a little bit further and lowered the levels. Anyhow, as I already stated, any kind of systemic recording of just about anything becomes absolutely useless at this point of time. And as you can see yourself at the headline of this recording is I'm talking about the madness. I will start with the because I have questions. People ask questions in discussion boards and through email. It's about why it is mad. Let's recall a little bit background of the situation with the energy crisis in Europe, which is basically destroying it. I will omit for now any discussion on the basically futility of the transition to green, because it is absolutely a ridiculous idea, especially within the time frame which was established by a European Commission and those people who are mostly lawyers and MBAs and have zero engineering or basically natural science background. But the point is very simple. Russia was supplying Europe for years, well, in fact, for decades, with gas based on the long-term contracts price which was negotiated and which was really basically defended from any kind of the market fluctuations. European Commission, especially obviously under the pressure from the United States, but also because they are basically ideological fanatics there, and there are many Russophobes there, especially the new members of European Union and NATO, that is Baltic states, Poland. They insisted that the price for the gas to be connected to the exchange. Not long-term contracts, not something tied to the price of the oil, but just exchange. Well, as we all know, any kind of stock exchange or even commodities exchange is nothing more than speculation. Well, basically, modern capitalism is a speculation. And the result of all that, well, we can observe right now. They wanted the price to be tied to exchange, basically, and removed from the price of oil. Well, there you go. We basically have now some spikes up to $2,000 per 1,000 cubic meters of gas, but this is what they wanted, especially Poland and Germany, and this was all this geopolitics because of the settling of accounts and looking for own very fast profit and moral satisfaction of hurting those damn Russians. Well, there you go. They hurt them, all right. Gazprom definitely doesn't know how much space it has in its vaults to stack this cash up there. But fact is, neither Russia nor Gazprom in particular are really interested in crushing the industry of the European Union, because it is being crushed right now. But hey, Europe is still a customer, important one, and why kill the industry when you can sell gas and other hydrocarbons to it for years to come? Well, they asked for it, they got it, and now we basically live in the speculative market for gas, and Europe is basically just committed suicide. And I'm not going to go today too much about this suicide because there's much more to it than just mere energy prices, which are, of course, crucial in development of the Europe. But here's one interesting point today. Russian Ministry of the Economic Development, it's a very powerful ministry, removed from its program the milestone of the getting carbon neutral by 2050. Before that, obviously, that stupid thing was there just to satisfy and placate the Europeans who cannot find, their ass with their both hands in the brightly lit room. But now Russians simply removed it because obviously it's a complete baloney. There will be no transition the way it is envisioned by the fanatics in Europe, because if this transition will happen, it means basically the death of European economy as such. And all those now fashionable in vogue things like hydrogen energy and all that, it's same old invention of the banksters and MBAs from stock exchanges, because they are not completely imbeciles. They can see the writing on the wall in terms of basically inability to sustain both standard of living and industry the way it exists today. So the only thing they can do is to impose what many people call a colonial tax, and carbon neutral energetics is just that, because Europe will try to impose those conditions on everybody else. And here comes the other thing, which I was asked on the discussion board yesterday or today by some of our friends. And here they posted the link to Russtrat website. It's the legitimate organization which is headed by one of the members of parliament of Duma from the International Relations Committee. And yeah, there's a lot of good on that link, and there is a lot of good thought there. There is one thought which is explicitly absent there. Will European Union exist by even 2030? I doubt it will. But then there is another thing. Will European nations exist as we know them by 2030? So, and that is one of those totally unknown factors. And right now, this is why I call it the geopolitics of madness. You literally cannot predict anything where it will all go. We know that it's being crushed by the reality. And, well, as already have been discussed, not for once, Europeans are not going to admit that they screwed it up. I mean, they are not capable. The European elites, the same as an American elites, are pretty much, most of them, not all, they're basically degenerates. I mean, the intellectual impotence and people I wouldn't trust to mow my lawn, or, you know, they are lawyers, MBAs, political scientists, people who have zero practical experience with anything. They wouldn't be able to run anything. And I already introduced the article by a number of American political observers, primarily from the American Conservative magazine. And yeah, as one of them stated, yeah, they cannot reset this socket, wall socket. I mean, they cannot do anything. They can create their ideologies, fanatical ideologies, I would say, and we observe this right now. And Russia is not happy about it in the long term, but yeah, Russia is getting paid just through the roof. Why not? And that's the result of European idiocy, sorry to say that. But that brings us to another point. And this is about madness. When I say, and again, I will be repeating this ad nauseum, and I will stress it all the time. I write this in my books constantly. Basically, modern Western elites are not that smart. They're not that smart, not just because they have low IQ or whatever that measured in. It's by the fact that they don't know the world outside. They absolutely do not know that. And there was Scott Ritter's article yesterday at RT, then Larry Johnson himself, former CIA officer, reacting to New York Times revelation about basically how CIA is screwed up, especially its foreign intelligence service and their case officers. And when you read this, I'm not going to open a huge secret, but there were a number of Russian intelligence and counterintelligence officers and high-level officers, like one of them, Lyubimov, who would say that, yeah, there's very little professional respect to American intelligence services because in terms of human intelligence, they suck. And I can tell you why they suck. They do not exist in the vacuum. They recruit their officers and case officers, field agents, or whatever you call it, from the American universities. And basically, humanities programs in American universities, and especially in relation to study of the outside world, are a disaster. It's a catastrophe. So basically, you already have people. They might be patriotic. I'm not saying they're all bad people, and they're not necessarily James Bonds. But I mean, the only thing they can recruit, it's the same as any Western journalist. The only thing they try to find immediately once they get to Russia, they try to find the people who speak their language and who hate Russia as much as they do. So as a result, you cannot get the objective and precise picture of what is going on because you also study from the times of Solzhenitsyn and other people who lied through the teeth about everything what was happening in Soviet Union and Russia, and you get this type of basically what they call assets. They recruit them, people who hate Russia, they want to settle accounts with her, and as a result they provide not so much what is going on, but as much mostly what they want to say. And that is why the situation with the awareness about the outside world in CIA, and especially such place as Russia, is disastrous. Normal people, normal analysts, they could have figured it out just merely watching, news and reading newspapers and websites, and they would already know the situation. But because they're so ideologically driven, they're so fanatical. As I already said, it's kind of the level of fanaticism of the Khmer Rouge. They continue to live in this, make-believe world where they think that Russia is about to collapse, that Russian armed forces are weak, and in this array that Russia produces nothing, that Russian economy is smaller than the economy of Texas. So what do you expect from these people? They literally detach from the reality, and whatever the mechanism is of briefing anybody there, but I don't know. I don't think so anybody in the United States in political top, bar some few very narrow segments, really understands in what position the United States is. And for example, if they call Russia an enemy, well, okay, they call Russia an enemy. Let's settle on that. In what is the position of Russia on many respects? And it's kind of useless to change that. You cannot. Because the new generation of people needs to come. Hopefully not worse than the one which we have now, because I don't know if we can hit the bottom as hard as we already have it. But and here's another thing. For some reason, Russian RIA today published a link to one of the American military professionals about Russian army and how to fight Russian army. So in this particular respect, I will make another video on that. But today, what I want to say, I'm trying out the new format with a little bit more graphics and music, written by my good old friend from 30 years ago, wonderful composer, Anton Lacharenko. And I will try to expand kind of the possibilities of the graphics and music in my videocasts. And as always, thank you for your attention, and please do not forget to support me on the Patreon. And just have a good day. We'll continue soon.